asked a lot of you about prolapse last week. Kind of the thing that came up, the word that came up a lot was fear. And I think it makes it one of the hardest things to, I don't treat as a pelvic floor PT because it's not straightforward. I remember the first time I learned about pelvic organ prolapse, I was probably 23. It was my first pelvic health class with Kathy Wallace and Holly Herman, where a lot of us started. And just thinking that organs could exit the body when you're like 22, 23 years old, it's kind of this alien sort of vision that you have about what it can look like and what it can feel like. And really, up until the time that I had my kids, I think I put it in a box of like, your organ can come out, and depending on how much the organ comes out, that's how much you'll feel it, and these are the exercises that you do, and you check that box, and if you don't get better, sorry, it's surgery. And that was kind of my experience up until the point that I had kids, and then of course having 2 C-sections and having prolapse and prolapse symptoms, which, remember, those two aren't supposed to go together because it wasn't a vaginal delivery, except for I carried my kids for 41.5 weeks, both of them. And then I think I started to get a different sense of it. But of all the issues that you can have after a baby, I think the one that people talk about the least, the one that they're scared of the most, is prolapse. Because usually, like diastasis recti, it's kind of the gateway one. It's the one, I don't like how my body looks. Gross. I don't like how my body looks. I don't feel like myself in my body. Like, that's an easy start. And I feel like that's kind of the gateway drug, because you go and seek care for diastasis recti and then just happen to manage leakage and mention prolapse, and then we start to talk about the things that, really are a big deal. But prolapse isn't, especially if your organ's coming out of your body, it's not something you bring up over lunch with your friends. I do a post every year on Thanksgiving asking, because there is genetic, there's some data now pointing to genetic components. If you have a grandmother or a mom or something like that who has pelvic organ prolapse, you might be likely to have it yourself. So that's the conversation we should be having around the Thanksgiving dinner table. But again, I feel like there's so much fear because it's this alien thought. It goes back to literally what I thought when I was like 22, 23 years old. Oh my God, an organ outside of my body. Or the feeling that you feel, like a tampon dangling, or that heaviness or that pressure. And I think we were taught as providers that if really we only have strengthening to choose from, and if that doesn't work, then the only thing that can put it back is surgery. And I think what I've learned is it's way more complex than that. So I would love for those of you guys that are providers, like, what was kind of your introduction to prolapse? If you ended up having it yourself, kind of what was your experience? Did things change a little bit? How do you look at it now? How do you address it now? And then, if you're a mom watching this and you've got pelvic organ prolapse, like, what was your experience for care, and did it work? And, talk to me a little bit about kind of when you first got that diagnosis. I'm sure you went down, Dr. Google, what those feelings are, because I think how we perceive prolapse actually probably plays a much bigger role in our prognosis than we realize. And I will elaborate on this, I promise, but I just wanted to at least start that conversation of, what did you originally understand prolapse to be? And then if you did have treatment, what did that look like? Did it help? Did it not? So whether you're a provider or a mom that's experienced that, hop in my DMs. Let me know kind of what you think, and I'll put some surveys and stuff up later too. It's tricky, but I like the tricky stuff.